Is it possible that the removal of so-called Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, assassinated in the first moments of Operation Epic Fury and Operation Roaring Lion on day one, is it possible that the removal of Ali Khamenei will lead to someone even worse? Is it possible that the Iranian regime is going to turn to the son of the late Ali Khamenei, Mojtaba Khamenei, 56 years old, an extremist cleric that people who know him say is worse than his father, more dangerous than his father, and is obsessed, absolutely obsessed, with bringing about the end of days. Hi, this is Joel Rosenberg for All Israel News. We're at the White House in Washington. I am trying to track, and we are covering from multiple angles, the war that's unfolding in Iran right now, okay? The United States and Israel have had extraordinary successes, but one of the things that remains an open question is apparently, reportedly, the top remaining, surviving, living Islamic Shia radical clerics have now elected a successor to Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. And by all reporting, this seems to be Mojtaba Khamenei. Again, 56 years old. He is a cleric himself. He's a theologian. He attended seminary in Qom, the main religious training center of Shia Islam in Iran. And what we've been doing is trying to understand, who is he? And is he a force for moderation, or could he take Iran in an even more dangerous direction? Now, All Israel News has been reporting from multiple sources, people who know Mojtaba Khamenei, that he's even more dangerous than his father, okay? So that's the early assessment, that this is a man. Now, we believe that he's wounded, okay? We have not seen pictures of him since the election of him to be the new supreme leader. Now, that may mean he's dead, but the fact that it's been reported that he has been elected to be the new supreme leader suggests that he's alive, but he may very well be wounded. Is he not showing his faith because he's wounded, and so badly wounded that he doesn't want to appear in public? Or is he fearing, and rightfully so, that the United States and Israel are going to come target him and take him out, just like they did his father and mother just a few days ago? So those are open questions. We don't know. But we are starting to learn some things that are very, very troubling. We're beginning to learn that not only did Mojtaba's father, Ali Khamenei, have a sort of 12-er perspective, an end times theology that believed Khamenei, the father, the late father, he believed, and I've written about this, I've talked about this, I've done interviews on this, and we've done videos, of course, for All Israel News and the Rosenberg Report. But we have talked about over the years, based on my research, that Khamenei and his inner circle really believe in an apocalyptic and genocidal form of end times theology. They believe that we are living in the end of the days, and to bring about the end of the end, or the end of the world as we've known it, is to destroy Judeo-Christian civilization, to destroy Israel, which they call the little Satan, because it's the epicenter of Judaism, which they hate, and to destroy the United States, or at least humble it and decimate it, because they consider the United States the great Satan, the epicenter of Christendom, right? So that's what the father believed. Now, what we're finding from people who know Mojtaba Khamenei, the 56-year-old son, people who've studied with him in seminary, and other people who've known him and have observed him, they are saying that he is even more crazy, more fanatical, more messianic. And I say messianic in the negative sense, right? There are messianic Jews who love Jesus. That's a good thing. I'm one of them. But Mojtaba Khamenei is messianic in the sense that he believes that the Messiah is Jesus, but he believes that he's not the Savior. He's not the crucified and resurrected Messiah, that he's not God and one with the Father. Shia Muslims don't believe that. Moreover, Mojtaba Khamenei believes what his father believes, but maybe he takes it to another level, that he believes that he personally is supposed to be involved in bringing about the end of days. And that would be a genocidal attack against Israel and the United States and our allies. And that's why the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and President Donald Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Secretary of War Pete Hegseth have all assessed what are the military capabilities of Iran, 2 weeks ago. How close were they to getting nuclear weapons? Well, the Iranian negotiators told Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner they had enough highly enriched uranium to build at least 11 fully operational nuclear warheads, and they were not going to give that fuel up. This is what caused Witkoff and Kushner to leave those negotiating sessions, call the President of the United States on a secure phone and say, Mr. President, I know you want us to make a deal. I know you wish this could end peacefully. We want that too, but it is not going to happen. These guys have enough fuel for 11 nuclear bombs. They're not giving it up. They are not backing down. They show no evidence that they are going to be reasonable and get to a serious deal that we could all accept and that would be verifiable. And Mojtaba Khamenei, again, the people that know him and the people that have observed him most closely say this guy would totally go into an apocalyptic, genocidal, end of the world war with the United States and Israel if he has a chance. Now, the good news is that his offensive military capabilities, that of what's left of the Iranian regime, are being picked apart and decimated and destroyed hour by hour, day by day. Almost all of the Iranian Navy has been destroyed and is sunk to the bottom of the Persian Gulf. About 80 to 90% of Iran's ballistic missile force and their launchers have been destroyed. About 80% or so of the suicide drones that Iran has built that have been attacking Israel, the United States, U.S. forces and our Arab allies in the region have also been destroyed. So that's why we're seeing the number of ballistic missile attacks going down. That's why we're seeing the number of suicide drone attacks going down. But they're not done yet. But hour by hour, day by day, the United States and Israel is decimating and destroying Iran's offensive military capacity. Those are the highest goals that President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu and their inner circles have laid out that they want to achieve. They do want to shatter the Iranian regime, and they have. I mean, they've decapitated the top 40 most wicked, most powerful leaders in Iran in the first 40 seconds of the attack. I interviewed Israeli ambassador to the United States, Yechiel Leiter. That full interview will air on the Rosenberg Report on Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, and again on Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern. You're going to have a chance to hear my sit-down interview here in Washington at the Israeli embassy with Yechiel Leiter, and that's what he says. I'll just give you a little sneak preview. He says it was the first 40 seconds of the operation, and boom. Supreme Leader Khamenei, his defense minister, his chief of staff, the head of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, and all the top 40 most wicked and powerful and menacing leaders were all taken out in those first moments. And day by day, the U.S. and Israel has been doing tremendous damage. But the reported election of Mojtaba Khamenei to be the new supreme leader is of concern, because it means that this regime hasn't been completely shattered. It may be rocked, it may be reeling, but it is not done. And we know this is going to be the most difficult part. President Trump hasn't actually said it. Prime Minister Netanyahu hasn't actually said that regime change is a definitive part of their goal. We know they want it, but they haven't made it a military objective because they might not be able to achieve it. And if they can't achieve it, where does that leave us? Mojtaba Khamenei, by all reports, and again, you can look at these articles that we were reporting on All Israel News, this guy seems like he could be more dangerous, more fanatical, and more of a let's bring about the end of the world type figure than even his father. So we don't want that person in charge. And obviously, one big question is, can the United States and Israel find him and assassinate him and the rest of anyone else that might want to take over and run even a humbled Iranian regime? Is that possible? That's what I'm praying for. That's what I encourage you to be praying for, not only for the neutralization and the destruction of all of Iran's ability to attack the United States and our interests, our values, our national security interests, and our allies, Israel and the Arabs in the region, but can the United States really shatter the Iranian regime to the extent that moderates would really emerge, that maybe somehow the Iranian people would rise up and take over. Because otherwise, at the moment, a messianic, fanatical, end times madman, worse than his father, could take over. That's who the leadership that's left in Tehran, that's what they want. And that's dangerous. That's not acceptable. And President Trump has said that he wants to have a hand in who's going to lead Iran next, whether it could be a moderate like Reza Pahlavi, the exiled crown prince that I've spoken to, maybe. Maybe there's someone inside Iran, but these are big challenges. And I wanted to give you this update from what I'm learning from US, Israeli, and even Arab officials here in Washington. So from the White House, this is Joel Rosenberg asking to keep praying for the peace of Jerusalem, keep praying for the protection and God's favor on US and Israeli military forces and all the rest of our allies in the region. Keep praying for the political and spiritual complete liberation of the Iranian people, and keep praying that the wicked regime in Tehran would be completely swept away and somebody new, somebody peaceful, a group of people that we can deal with, that we can work with for the long haul would emerge. Again, from the White House, this is Joel Rosenberg for All Israel News. God bless you.